Hello, Kristen here. I wanted to make a short video to show you some of the things I like to carry with me for field sketching. So this summer I've put together 2 different kits. This one's bigger, has more supplies, and I'll go over that with you later in another video. Right now I wanted to show you kind of my short and simple kit, which is pretty small and portable. I have been able to pack this in my purse or my bag and bring it with me pretty much everywhere because it doesn't take up too much space. So to start off, the first thing that I have is just a pad of sketching paper. I've been using this B Paper Company spiral bound 5x7. It's a heavyweight drawing paper. If you like using a lot of water when you're sketching, you might want to use more of a watercolor paper or a mixed media paper, but this has worked really well for me. It doesn't feel too precious, and it takes a little bit of water fine. It's nice to draw on, but it's good for experimenting. I can have a page where I just write notes in it, test out different paints. I can work wet and wet a little bit. So yeah, it's been a fun notebook for me, and mostly it's small and not too precious to work in. To draw with, I have a couple different things. I like to have a simple mechanical pencil with me wherever I go. These are pretty affordable and you can get lead to refill them. I just like they're always ready to use. You don't need a pencil sharpener and you can get something basic down to work on. I do a lot of pen and watercolor work, and one thing that I like about drawing with pen in my field sketchbook is that it doesn't smudge. I like to use these Pigma Micron pens. They have permanent ink, so once the ink's dry you can do watercolor on top. The ink is also archival, and I found that the 0.5 size works really well for me. Some of the smaller sizes are nice and delicate. They're really nice for doing detailed line work, but they aren't as durable and they don't hold up as well. The only thing to be careful about with the Pigma Microns is that they tend to explode when you take them on airplanes, so pack them in a plastic bag or bring them in your carry-on, or I haven't figured out the exact solution for that, but as long as you're not flying, they work really well. Recently, I've been really enjoying having a brush pen with me. This just allows you to get more of a variety of line and can be really great for quick gestural sketching. So you can get a thick line and fill in a lot of space with a dark value, or you can get a really thin line by just using the tip and light pressure. You can also vary the line as you go. So that's a fun thing to play with. This one also has a permanent ink so that you can watercolor with it without it smudging it. And then lastly, I really like these Pentel Aquash water brush pens. They are pretty affordable as well. They're about $7 each, and they have a nylon brush tip, which is fairly durable, and a cap. And then to make them work, you just unscrew this part and fill the barrel part with water. That way you don't need an extra container to reach into or balance with you while you're sketching, so it's pretty quick and easy for that. For watercolor painting, I have been working on kind of making myself a minimalist palette. So this is a Winsor Newton palette that I refilled with my own watercolors from tubes, and yeah, I just made this, so I'm working on figuring it out. One thing I thought I wouldn't like very much about it is that it doesn't have very much space for mixing colors, and especially with a smaller palette, I like to mix my colors a lot, so I grabbed this extra palette just to have more space for that. I also bring a rag with me so that I can wipe off my brush when I'm painting. So to show you how this works and how the water brush works, you can just mix your colors over here. and then bring them onto the page. You don't need to squeeze the water brush. There's some. To make the paint come out. You can if you want more of a wet on wet look, but you don't need to. And then when you switch colors, you just wipe it off on the rag, and then come over here. And paint more. So that's that. As far as the colors I chose for my palette, I went with a warm and cool of each of the primaries. So the primary colors are yellow, blue, and magenta or red. So I have kind of like a more orangey yellow and then a more cool greeny yellow. Same with a purpley blue and a greeny blue. A red that tends towards violet and a red that tends towards orange. I also have a gray, this is Lunar Violet actually, but it's kind of like a gray shadow color, and then a white gouache or pretty opaque watercolor paint. So I started off with that, and then I decided to add in an extra one of each of the primaries that are kind of more earthy or just colors that I like to use. So this quinacridone gold, which can be a little bit ochre, cobalt teal, which is a really nice color for making a bright vivid green or for working on glaciers. I use this color a lot. And then a Terra Rosa, which is kind of more of a sienna-y red. I have one extra space in my palette. I haven't decided what color I'm going to put there yet, but I'm going to paint with these and then see what extra color I feel like I would like to have. So that's my very simple sketch kit that I'm going to carry with me over the next month, and I'll show you what I paint with it.